Who was the first person to say that about you? I know there are words about yourself that you did not choose. They feel old now, familiar, worn smooth from being repeated inside your own mind. Maybe they sound like "I'm too much," or "I'm not enough," or something quieter, something harder to name. You carry them the way a person carries keys in a pocket, always there, pressing against you, even when you forget they're the reason you feel heavy. I see how naturally they come to you, how quickly you agree with them, as if they were facts, as if they were written somewhere permanent. You've been living under those sentences for a long time, measuring yourself against them, explaining yourself through them, bracing for the moment someone else confirms them. And it's exhausting. Not dramatic, not loud, just a steady, quiet tiredness. I'm not here to argue with what you believe about yourself. I'm just sitting with you long enough to notice it, the way those words rest on your shoulders, the way they follow you into conversations, into rooms, into silence. You didn't wake up one morning and decide to think this way, and yet here you are, holding something that feels like it has always been yours. I'm here with you in that. There was a moment. You may not visit it often, but it exists. The first time that sentence brushed against you. Maybe it was spoken plainly, across a kitchen table, in a classroom, in the middle of an argument. Or maybe it wasn't spoken at all. Maybe it was a look, a sigh, a door closing a little too hard. You were smaller then, still learning what to do with other people's reactions, still deciding who you were. And when that message reached you, you didn't have much to compare it to, so it settled. Not because you studied it, not because you agreed carefully, but because it landed in open space. You trusted the voices around you. Of course you did. That's what tender hearts do. Sometimes the words came wrapped in humor, sometimes in frustration, sometimes in disappointment that felt too big for the room. And without meaning to, you carried it forward. You adjusted yourself around it, tilted your posture, softened your laughter, worked harder, withdrew sooner. You were trying to stay close, trying to belong, trying to avoid hearing it again. I'm not tracing it back to assign blame. I'm just noticing the beginning, because there was a beginning, before the belief felt permanent, before it felt like your own voice. There was a moment when it was new, and I see that younger version of you, standing there, receiving something heavy. I am beside that memory with you. After a while, it stopped sounding like someone else. It blended in. The tone became yours. The timing became yours. The repetition became quiet and constant. You didn't notice the shift. It just started showing up before anyone else could say it. You would think it first, assume it first, brace for it first. And over time, it felt responsible, like you were being realistic, like you were protecting yourself from surprise. So you let it stay. You organized your choices around it. You explained your mistakes through it. You interpreted silence through it. If someone didn't text back, it confirmed it. If something went wrong, it pointed back to it. The belief became a lens, not loud, not dramatic, just steady. And when something kind came your way, it had to pass through that filter too. Compliments bent around it. Opportunities felt suspicious. Rest felt undeserved. You weren't trying to be harsh with yourself. You were trying to make sense of the world. Repetition has a way of rooting deeply, not like a storm, more like slow-growing vines. They wind quietly, wrap around ordinary days, thread themselves into identity, and eventually you stop asking whether they belong there. They simply feel like structure. I see how deeply this has woven into you, not because you are weak, not because you lack strength, but because you are human, and humans absorb what they hear. I am here with you inside that realization, and yet there have been moments, small ones, a pause after you say the familiar sentence about yourself, a flicker of something that doesn't fully agree. You almost ignore it because the old belief is louder, more practiced, more certain. But the doubt is there, not dramatic, not defiant, just a soft hesitation. Sometimes it shows up when someone looks at you with unexpected kindness, or when you accomplish something and feel, for a split second, surprised. There's a whisper inside that says, maybe that's not the whole story. You don't build on it. You don't follow it far. It feels risky to question something that has shaped you for so long. If the belief isn't solid, then what is? So you return to what's familiar, to what feels stable, even if it feels heavy. Still, that small uncertainty keeps surfacing. In quiet car rides, in the shower, in the space between waking and fully rising, a subtle wondering. Not a rebellion, just curiosity. I'm not asking you to choose between voices. I'm simply sitting with that gentle crack in the certainty, the place where something inside you isn't entirely convinced. It's very small, but it's real, and I am here with you in that fragile space. Sometimes when you hold something long enough, your hands forget what it feels like to be empty, even if what you're holding was never meant for you. There is a difference between something being familiar and something being true, but that difference can feel impossible to sort out. So you keep carrying it, not because you love it, not because it fits, but because you've grown used to the weight. What if the sentence about yourself was spoken out of someone else's fear, or their exhaustion, or their own unfinished story? What if it was shaped by a moment that had more to do with them than with you? I'm not pulling it away from you. I'm not asking you to drop it. I'm just sitting here with the possibility that it might not belong in your hands. You don't have to decide anything tonight. You don't have to rewrite your identity. Just notice how it feels to consider that the label could have been misplaced, that maybe it was handed to you before you had the strength to question it. You have been faithful to carry it, even when it cut into you. I see that, and I am still here beside you. Right now, nothing has to change. The belief may still be there. The questions may still be there. I'm not measuring your progress. I'm not waiting for you to come to a new conclusion. I'm simply here, in this room, in this quiet stretch of night, in this space where your thoughts slow down just enough to be heard. You don't have to defend yourself with me. You don't have to prove that the old words are accurate. You don't have to argue against them either. You can just breathe. If the weight is still in your hands, I see it. If part of you is loosening your grip, I see that too. There is no urgency in my presence, no timeline, just steadiness. The story about you may still feel unfinished, unclear, unsettled. That's all right. I am not standing at a distance evaluating. I am close enough to notice the way your shoulders rise and fall, close enough to feel the quiet ache you rarely name. You are not alone with the question of who told you that. You are not alone with what it did to you. I am here, and I am not moving away.